Charter Local Edition. Brad Pomerance here. You know him well. He is Steve Bradford. He was a member of the California State Assembly until 2014, termed out. For whatever reason, he wants to return to Sacramento. He is a nominee for the California State Senate, District number 35. And congratulations on your first place finish in the primary. You face a unique situation. It's going to get less unique in that your opponent is not a member of another party. Because of the top two primary system, you are running against a Democrat.
That's correct.
And I want to get a sense from you how you fashion your campaign as we look towards November in the fact you're running against a Democrat and not a Republican.
I think we base it on my record. I mean, and it's very clear, and it's a distinct difference between me and my opponent, who's a great friend. But
right.
When you look at deliverables, as they often says, life is about results, not effort. We have the results from 18 years.
And it's interesting because you are from Gardena, your opponent's from Gardena. When you say he's a great friend, you're not lying. I mean, you've known each other for decades. And so, you think in a district of almost 1 million people, it's just ironic that Gardena, to a finest is running for the state Senate. But how do you then talk to Republicans? How do you talk to no party preference? Because the goal had always been, get Democratic votes out in the general election. That's all you need to do. It's a Democratic district, let's get them out. But now you got to talk to Republicans.
It's not about party ideology, and I learned that in Sacramento. It's about issues. And I think that's why I have just as many Republicans in the legislature that are rooting for me in this race to come back, because we learn to work around party lines. I might not like a certain situation, but I'm not forcing it down their throat, so we work together.
Let's talk about an issue that is on the minds of so many in California, especially in Los Angeles County, and your district is exclusively Los Angeles County, and that's the question of homelessness. I must say, I'm a LA County resident, and when I drive around the city, I am seeing homeless folks in places I never saw them before. I live in a nice neighborhood, whatever that means, and there are homeless around my neighborhood. On the one hand, I might get a little frustrated, but on the other, there's an empathy there. What are you seeing as you go throughout Los Angeles County?
Much of what you're seeing.
Right.
And I think it's right now an issue of priority. And I think we as Californians and we as Americans need to make homelessness the #1 priority that's affecting this country.
And think about this, sir. LA County is now the homeless capital of America. We have close to 50,000 homeless. Year to year, we were up 12% in 15. Now we're up 5.7% in 16. Something's going on. What's your view, especially since we're in a recovering economy?
We've cut funding. We've cut education opportunities. We've cut job opportunities. I think we need to expand our vocational ed, because when you have income inequality, you can't afford a roof over your head. And that's what we have to do a better job here in California. And that's some of the issues that I'm going to be running on. How do we give folks a hand up and let them achieve the American dream just as we all want to?
So the body in which you seek to join the state Senate, they have been strong advocates of a $2 billion bond for permanent housing for mentally ill folks living on the streets. It looks like it's going to move forward. I think it's part of the budget. It's it's using Prop 63 money to pay off the bond. What do you make of this effort, this $2 billion bond to focus exclusively on mentally ill homeless?
I think we should have been doing it a lot sooner. And again, I think we've done a lot of important things, but I don't think we've done the number one priority things in California. And homelessness, poverty, income inequality, those are the things that we really need to be focusing on. And I think the legislature now is seeing the importance of it, of getting these people off the street. If we say we care about our environment, then we have to care about those folks that we're leaving outside every night. That's part of the environment too.
At the same time, and events are moving quickly, but there have been discussions that certain local governments would seek tax revenue from its residents. LA County's looking at that possibility. What do you think about local revenue plans to raise money to attack the homeless challenge?
We wouldn't have had to do it if we didn't destroy
Okay.
redevelopment agencies. So we brought it on ourselves. I mean, it was a vote that I took as well in the assembly 5 years ago, and we had the money for affordable housing, and that's what those programs did. But we were trying to fix a bigger problem and realized we didn't solve any problem. We created a greater problem.
We've created the problem. Should local governments seek to tax their own residents as a way to handle this crisis, or should we rely on the state? Should we rely on the federal government?
I think we need to find a way to bring back that component of RDA, Redevelopment Agency, that creates the affordable housing aspect of it. That's what we need to start doing. Not necessarily market rate housing, affordable housing for homeless folks.
Well, let's talk about affordable housing, because that's a separate question.
Without a doubt.
And there's no question that when you look at the issue of affordable housing, there are many challenges presented by developers, or developers face many challenges. The governor is looking to address that issue in a way that's caused some consternation. Was that good? He'd like to limit local review of affordable housing projects, of projects that are near transit. And that has caused some concern. What do you think about this question of red tape in affordable housing?
Well, it's red tape, period, in California. That's why we lose a lot of business, a lot of manufacturing, because it takes far too long to get a project permitted. So if we can find a way to streamline, and it's so funny, we were able to do it when we wanted to build a football stadium downtown. We were able to streamline that, truncate it, but not, reduce the standards, but speed it along. We should be able to do that for housing as well.
So you would support streamlining?
Without a doubt.
That's a bold position.
Without a doubt. We have to put bricks and mortar and put people back in the shelters and back in the housing.
I want to talk about market rate housing, because you know better than I, in addition to the homeless crisis, in addition to the affordable housing crisis, we're facing a market rate housing crisis, which I had not been aware until recently. We know that the cost of homes in California 2.5 times greater than the national average, and we're just not building enough homes to keep up with demand, especially in coastal areas like where we are today.
Well, not only are we not building enough, again, most working families can't afford them anyway. So again, it goes back to what is affordable, and we have the stigma that if you build affordable housing, it's low-income folks. No, these are people who are making $100 grand a year that can't afford to live in the neighborhood where I live in today. If I had to buy my house today, I couldn't afford it.
You and me both.
So the point is about what is affordable, and we have to remove that stigma. So market rate housing, most of us can't afford market rate.
So where do we go from here? Can the state government be a vehicle to address the market rate housing crisis? Because look, we all want our homes to increase in value, but at a certain point, we're pricing so many people out of the market, it puts additional pressures on rentals. Then you have a rental housing crisis, which we have, and it just keeps trickling down.
Again, we created this problem by this dismantling redevelopment, because a developer could find a piece of dirt and he might not be able to pay market rate, but with the city's assistance, they can write down the dirt and they could build a house at a more affordable cost. We've created this problem, so we as a legislature, we should fix it.
So do you believe there is an appetite to bring back redevelopment in some form?
There have been numerous bills since we dismantled.
That's the problem. There have been bills and they don't go anywhere. Governor Brown says nix.
But we have to talk to the governor. And the governor, I mean, I love him and we respect him, but Jerry Brown sometimes doesn't realize today real world poverty. He understands third world poverty with Mother Teresa, but he doesn't understand California poverty. Yeah. And we have to find a way to help folks get into housing.
And he was mayor of Oakland.
Without a doubt.
Would have thought, arguably, that he would understand the need for RDA.
Oakland would not be the Oakland it is today if he didn't have a RDA agency at his fingertips.
His name is Steve Bradford. He is a nominee for the California State Senate 35th Senatorial District in Los Angeles County. My name is Brad Pomerance, Charter Local Edition.